Welcome back. I never know what to say there. I don't want to repeat the same thing that you say, even though I just did.
You can just say hi, like whatever.
I know. I feel like I need to come up with like an intro.
Oh God.
My own intro.
Oh God.
Howdy, y'all.
Oh my gosh. No, veto.
Okay. Yeah, it would be funny though.
Okay.
Maybe not that particular, but just.
Yeah, maybe not that.
I'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll workshop it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, hi everyone.
Hi.
Today we are going to talk about living in the gray area. Living in the gray area.
Is that like the Twilight Zone?
No.
So what is that?
Well, we're going to get into it. Living in the gray areas of life. But before we do, we are going to try. This is a non-alcoholic seltzer. Ooh, it's called Hi-O. I'm like, and if you're watching, here's the can. Hi-O. It's got a beautiful gradient, really pretty. And the flavor we are trying is blackberry lemon.
Oh, I get it. The purple to the yellow gradient.
Yeah, blackberry to lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Uh-huh. And so their like slogan or whatever on the back says, "The healthier way to unwind." We crafted our mindful social tonics with organic adaptogens, natural nootropics, and functional botanicals to celebrate life never wasted. So yeah, it's a non-alcoholic alternative for a seltzer. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's give it a shot.
So yeah, look at this last line right here. So raise a can and find out what it means to be happy in your own.
Happy in your own.
Hence, Hi-Yo. H-I-Y-O. Happy in your own.
Oh, happy in your own. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what that meant, or if it there was some meaning there.
Yeah, happy in your own. Hi-Yo.
Now we know. It's an acronym.
Yeah, now we know. Let's do it.
Let's give it a shot.
Oy. Cheers, mi amor.
Cheers to you.
Ooh.
That's good.
Oh, I like this.
That's really good.
Okay. The flavor is really nice.
Is there any sugar in this? Okay, yeah, so there's 5 grams of sugar. So there's some. 25 calories. I mean, it's still super light.
Yeah, 25 calories, 4 grams of added sugar, 5 sugars total.
This is really good for that low of a sugar amount and that low of calories.
Yeah, 25 calories in this little can. Or big can. It's a tall can. It's a tall can for anyone that's wondering. 12 fluid ounces. So it's a non-alcoholic seltzer. Like if you drink Trulies or White Claws or whatever else. This is like the alternative. Hi, Cosmo. For anyone who's watching, that's Cosmo. Hi. Okay.
He's trying to make his debut.
I know. He's like, pay attention to me. But this is really good. So the flavor, it's like very much the blackberry flavor tastes very natural to me. The lemon part is kind of where I get a little bit of the I can taste that
aspartame, like fake sweetness.
I don't know. It's not fake sweetness.
Okay.
I can just tell that this has been sweetened.
Oh, okay, I see.
A little bit in that like lemon flavor, but it's not bad. It's not like syrupy. It's not at all. It's very light and very refreshing.
Yeah, it's very smooth. I think the flavor is great. Like I think it's like perfectly split, like half and half between blackberry and lemon.
Yeah.
The blackberry comes in initially and then has like a smooth lemon finish. Yeah, I think it's a really well done drink.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I really like this.
This is up there with the recessed strawberry for sure.
Oh, definitely. Let's see. So this has ashwagandha, L-theanine, cordyceps mushroom extract. So maybe not actual. Let's see. Ginger extract, turmeric extract, lion's mane mushroom extract. So yeah, it's
Wow.
got a...
There's a lot in this.
Yeah. Oh, and erythritol. I don't know what that one is, but I think it's maybe another like adaptogen kind of things. Yeah, so this is really good. The only thing that I wish this had was more bubbles.
Yeah, if it was, yeah, because it is, oh yeah, it does say sparkling. Yeah, it's not really carbonated.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like it's super bubbly. It doesn't taste super carbonated. So maybe if you're like one of those people that likes high noons because there's no bubbles, then even though this says sparkling, I'm like, where are all the bubbles?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's very light on the carbonation.
Yeah, very, very light. I mean, it's definitely still carbonated, but it's pretty light. Like, less than, like, a soda or a normal sparkling water.
Yeah,
Much
way
less.
less.
Way less than any of those.
I'd say for me, with, like, the flavor is so good. It tastes natural. Doesn't taste fake at all. Mm-hmm. And with, like, all these, like, what do they call them? Just, like...
Adaptogens.
The adaptogens, the functional ingredients. Oh, there's 6% juice. Yeah, just with, like, all the, the additional enhancers. Mm-hmm. I'd have to give it an 8 at least. Possibly even a 9.
So, what? No, I don't think it's better than the recess drink. The recess strawberry. It's not better than that one.
Oh, I don't know. It's on par. For me, it's on par, if not a little bit better.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, we're each entitled to our own opinions.
We are each entitled to our own opinions. I really like this, but I like bubbles. I like the bubbly drinks, so...
You're going to knock it for the bubbles? You're going to knock it that hard?
Well, so I don't think it's on par with the strawberry recess drink, no.
What if there were bubbles?
If there were bubbles, then yeah, it would be.
Oh, okay, wow. So the bubbles is the deciding factor for you.
Well, the bubbles is a big deal for me.
Okay.
I like the bubbly drinks.
All right, yeah,
I'm like,
you're more
bring
into the
on
bubbles.
the bubbles. Yeah. So...
Okay, fair.
No, but I mean, this is still great. So if we bumped up... Okay, because in the last episode, we bumped up the strawberry recess drink. We bumped it up to an 8.
Yeah.
So if that's an 8, then this is a 7. So it's just under the recess drink.
Okay, I'm sticking with my 8.
That's fair.
On par.
Okay, on par with, and for me, it's just under. But I mean, still, I think anything that's like a 7 or higher is like, really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really, really liking this.
Yeah, I would definitely buy this again. Mm-hmm. They have 2 other flavors, too, at the store we bought this from, so...
Yeah.
I'm excited to try those.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, and it's just so refreshing, and...
Yeah.
I am... okay, really loving this. Okay, but yeah, let's get into the episode. So yeah, what do I mean when I say, like, living life in the gray area? I think that a lot of times as we start to get older and as we start to really look at our own beliefs and where have they come from and why do we believe what we believe, we start to realize, right, that not everything in life is black and white. Nothing in life is black and white,
Except for black and white.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll stop it with the
Oh my god.
stupid side comments.
If you are watching this, yeah, that look that I gave Mike is like pretty typical of any time. He makes those kinds of stupid jokes all the time. And I just...
Yeah, Lisa doesn't understand that I feed off those looks.
I know, no, I do understand.
Well, she does, but she, it doesn't stop her from giving them.
I know, because it's just like, really?
Yeah. But now I say those jokes just to get that look.
I know you do.
So it's like...
I know.
It's a never-ending cycle.
I know, we're in this negative feedback loop. Or negative.
It's fun, though.
Feedback loop. It is. It's funny. That's Cosmo again. Very chatty right now. But okay, so yeah, like as we get older and we start examining like our lives and our beliefs and where do they come from, we start to realize that like things are not so black and white. And most things in life are not black and white. And so that's kind of like what I want to talk about today is like living life in the gray area and sort of exploring the gray area. Oh my gosh. Meow. Cosmo, it's okay, baby. Yeah, and so just like exploring the gray areas. And I think, honestly, if these sort of gray areas of life are talked about a little bit more and become a little bit more acceptable, then like a lot of us would be a lot happier. So that's kind of like the theme that I want to explore.
So yeah,
today.
What specifically is this gray area though, in terms of like
Yeah. Okay. So
polyamory and like what?
Yeah.
What we want to talk about.
Okay. So keeping that like in mind, that theme of like the gray area, I want to talk about like cheating and monogamy and like, okay, because 50% of marriages do not work out. We all know this. We've talked about this many times. And most of the time it's from cheating. Or a lot of people have cheated before. Maybe before they got married, or maybe before they got into a serious relationship, or maybe they were in a serious relationship and they cheated and they never told and now they're married, But like, it's kind of like, so cheating happens. We know it happens. It's like a natural thing to be attracted to someone other than your partner. It's going to happen. Like, that's just part of being human, right? It doesn't mean you have to always act on those feelings, but at some point, and maybe many points in your life, you are going to be attracted to somebody other than your partner. So if we already know that's going to happen, then it's like, well, then why can't we like talk about some of these gray areas a little bit more? I think you can still be monogamous and maybe have a little bit of that gray area, monogamish. I think there's a TV show called Monogamish or something, but
Is there?
yeah, or there's something called monogamish.
I know there's Blackish.
Yeah, no, I think
maybe there's like another.
I think there is.
Okay.
Anyway, but still, right? But that's like that's a great term, monogamish, right? Like, here's the thing. Monogamy is great for some people, but as we've seen, it doesn't work for everybody. Polyamory is great for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody, right? And it's like, why do we have to be so black and white with those two things? Why can't there be gray area? And why can't that be more accepted? Of like, yeah, maybe you're like in a monogamous committed relationship, but you still have some exceptions to that rule. And you're clear about them and you've defined those exceptions for your relationship. So when they come up, it's not a surprise and it's not a shock and nobody is hurt by it. Right? Like, why? So it's not like you don't have to be like go from monogamy to polyamory. But like, why can't there be some gray area? And I think there should be. Like, I know like human beings love to be able to put everybody in like a nice, neat little box. I want to put you in this box and label you monogamous because I can then understand you. Or I'm going to put you in the polyamory box and label it polyamory, and now I understand you. But like, not everybody fits into those boxes because not everything is black and white. And so why can't there be gray area? And so that's what I want to talk about. Is the gray area.
Yeah, I think it's, well, I think, for every couple in every relationship, they have to decide between themselves, what they want.
Yeah.
Like, what do they think is right for them? Like, do they want to keep it black and white, like strictly monogamous or strictly polyamorous, or, do they want to be like monogamous with like a hall pass, like we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be swingers, like, or, I don't know, monogamous, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess a hall pass is, you can define that in like many ways, like, once a year or like every now and then kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all depends on the couple.
Exactly. But like, that's what I want to talk about, because I think a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, they're monogamous like by default, right? Because that's what's like socially acceptable. That's what we have all learned is like the right relationship model, is monogamy, right? So most people are monogamous because like that's all they know and that's all that's been taught to them. And then they hear about polyamory, or people talk about polyamory and they're like, whoa, that's way too much. But maybe monogamy isn't quite working for them. It's like, okay, they're monogamous because that's what they're told, but that's really hard and it's not quite working for them. But polyamory is just like, whoa, that is like way too much. And there's not really much in between. And so like, that's what I want to talk about is like, well, then why don't we talk about that in between? Why don't we create that in between? Why can't we normalize something in between monogamy and polyamory? What?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess monogamy and polyamory is, if we're just comparing like those two is like kind of the two extremes, or like the opposites. Like, yeah, there are some in-betweens. It depends. Like, maybe some people are monogamous at some point in their relationship and then become or want to be polyamorous, and they just kind of alternate back and forth. Or, like, as we said before, there's, like, monogamy with the hall pass, or, some form of that.
Okay. But see, so I guess that's kind of what I want to talk about, is, like, the hall pass thing. Let's dig into that a little bit, because I think... So I feel like the most common, like, hall pass is almost like a joke. People joke about like, oh yeah, right, we're monogamous, but we have a hall pass for like certain like actors or celebrities.
Oh yeah.
Right? But that's almost like a joke, because it's like, how likely is it that that's actually going to happen? So I think people joke about that because they don't think that would ever actually happen. Right?
Yeah, and it's just, I guess it's also probably what they've commonly heard before.
Yeah.
As only giving an exception for, like, a celebrity or, like, a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But
yeah,
yeah.
That's not serious. It's not, that's not part of your everyday existence.
Yeah.
Or at least your, like, normal existence.
Yeah. But it's like, so if that were to actually happen, right? If I had a hall pass for, I don't know, some actor and I met them, and we were in a monogamous relationship, would it actually be okay? Or is that just a joke and people say it's okay because they don't actually believe it would ever happen? And if it did happen, they would be hurt by it.
I think that's so hard to tell. I think it would just depend on who it was.
Yeah. But it's like, so, I don't know. So, like, okay, but then some people really do have, like, hall pass rules. And it's like, yeah, maybe once a year you're allowed to, like, go have a fling. But I feel like a lot of times, if that is the case, then people are like, oh, but I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know who it's with. And, like, yes, you can go do it, but I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah, it's very short term. It's typically just sex.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no, ideally, there's no relationship involved. Or, like, no, like, real emotional connection.
Yeah.
It's just purely for, like, oh, like, I want to have this fling.
Yeah.
And, like, have this thrill and, like, kind of get it out of my system.
Yeah. But see, that's the other thing. A lot of people are like, well, yeah, like, just get it out of your system. But, like, but that has such, like, a negative, I don't know, connotation to me. Like, oh, just, like, get it out and be done with it. But, like, no. Why? But it, like...
I also don't think it works like that. I don't think you just get it out of your system.
No, you don't. And it also shouldn't be that way. It should be, like, no, go and have this experience.
Yeah.
Go and have this experience and enjoy it. Because getting it out of your system, to me, that also seems like there's, like, a level of, like, shame and guilt attached to it. You know? Because it's like, oh, I just have to, like, do this, get it out of my system and be done with it. And, like, because it's, like, because it's not a good thing, but I'm just going to do it to get it over with and then I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's shame and guilt attached to that. So that's not really, like, a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think same with, like, the like, oh, once a year hall pass, but I don't want to know about it. It's because there's, like, shame and guilt and jealousy tied to that. So none of that is, like, positive. It should be a positive experience instead of, yeah, go and get this out of your system. It should be, yes, go and have this experience and enjoy it and then move on from it. You know?
I mean, maybe it does work like that for some people and some couples.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know any couple that does that. So I can't really speak from personal experience.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of a way to, like, have a little taste of polyamory almost, you know?
Yeah. But, like...
But you don't want to, like, fully commit to it, so...
Yeah.
I get it. And, like, there's also, like, when we first started doing this, it's not like your feelings of, like, jealousy and, like, insecurity when your significant other starts dating or has seen someone else, like, those don't instantly go away, so...
Yeah.
I get it. Like, they don't want to, like, have to deal with those emotions, but they also want, like, themselves and or their partner to, like, kind of feel like they're not restricted in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're, like, kind of, like, putting their foot into, like, the gray area.
Dipping a toe into the pool
but not,
of
like,
gray.
but not fully swimming in it, because, yeah, I mean, with polyamory, like, let's say that's, like, I guess we're kind of saying that's somewhat the gray area, right?
Well, it's,
like what?
It's like, I guess that would be, like, the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
You know?
To me, the gray area is just, like, it's just,
anything
like,
in between.
It's just not certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have, like, a perfect label to it, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, and so it's like, I don't know, or I feel like, imagine if, like, close your eyes, dear listener. Imagine you meet somebody. You're single, and you meet somebody, and they're great, and you want to have a relationship with them. And, you talk about all those kinds of, like, what do you want out of life? Oh, like, this is kind of my goal for career, and this is how many kids I want, or I don't want any kids, or, like, right? Like, you have all these kinds of conversations because you want to make sure that you want the same things out of life, to be great life partners. And what if, also, you talked about, okay, yes, we want to be mainly monogamous, but also there are exceptions to the rule. There's gray area. And what if we defined that gray area up front? So that way, then when these things inevitably do happen, there's no guilt around it.
Yeah, I think some people might just be afraid of, like, scaring off the person they're dating potentially, with bringing up this, like, uncommon or, like,
Okay.
somewhat out there, like gray area idea.
Okay, yes, but also if you are wanting to be in a relationship where there is some nice gray area, then you probably don't want to be with that person anyway, right?
Well, I just think that like in the beginning, maybe it just doesn't quite start there for some people or for a lot of people.
But that's why I'm saying imagine if it did. Because you're right, it doesn't. It doesn't usually happen that way. But imagine if it did. Imagine if when you started a relationship, you didn't just assume it was going to be monogamous. What if you talk about those different things of like, oh, okay, but what happens if we get into a relationship and then one of us meets somebody else that we are really attracted to or that we find really just like magnetic? Yeah. And you talk about those things up front.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to be aware of them.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't aware of that.
No, we weren't.
When we started dating.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, though. It's like, usually it just develops to that point where it's like, oh, I kind of do want more, or I want something outside of this relationship, and then you kind of start exploring the idea from there. Because, like, sometimes you just don't know exactly what you want.
Well, exactly.
In that moment.
Sometimes you don't know exactly what you want, and that's why if you have this conversation up front, then it leaves it open because you're right, you don't always know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So then why commit to something and then be like, shit, maybe I do want some of these other things, when instead you can do the opposite. You can commit to this thing but also know that there are other like rules and guidelines that you can abide by that are still going to be ethical, right? So that's what I'm saying. Exactly. We don't always know what we want. And so why can't, it's like, so it's talking about those gray areas and those things of like, oh, okay, well, so what if you do meet someone that you're like really attracted to? Are you allowed to sleep with them? Are you allowed to like flirt with them? Like what are those rules? Because, or is it like no, strictly no, like we are monogamous and that is it? But like I just think like you don't have to say like, oh, okay, I'm going to be polyamorous or just monogamous. There is that whole in between, and we should be able to have those kinds of conversations. And if we're more open to it, then when that does happen where you're out and you meet somebody, then it's like you have that freedom, or you've had these conversations. And because a big part of it is like there just isn't any communication. We all go into relationships like expecting that it's going to be monogamous, and then we feel guilty when we meet somebody that we're really attracted to or that we're just really magnetized towards, and when it doesn't need to be that way. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. I think the gray area is more of actually just venturing more into polyamory. Like, the more we talk about it, like, to me, it's like, it's more of like a gradient. It's not really, I guess, well, to me, like, the gray area is polyamory to me. There's like more uncertainty there.
Well, no, because so much like black and polyamory means you want to have multiple relationships.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants that.
Yeah.
But they do maybe want to be able to explore a connection with somebody, but maybe not have two relationships happening at the same time.
Okay.
Like long-term relationships, right?
So really, okay. So you're saying the gray area is like monogamy plus like a hall pass, or plus like something else, some other open agreement you have with your partner.
Yes.
About like potentially seeing or dating or even just having sex, like somewhat of like an open marriage.
Okay, yes and no, but it's not an open marriage, right? It's not just like, oh, you can
But that's
you
a
can
form
go.
of it.
I mean, yes, that is an option, right? Like, yeah, if you have an open marriage, then that means you can have sex with whoever you want whenever you want, right? But it's like, I'm just saying, like, there's so many there are so many other ways of being in relationship with someone than strictly monogamy and polyamory. And I think they are all worth exploring and talking about. And so, right, like one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is to normalize polyamory and non-monogamy. And that's why we're having this conversation. There's more than just monogamy and polyamory. There's so much in between, and it needs to be talked about and explored, because if that were to be more normalized, I think a lot of people would be a lot happier. Because I've heard a lot of people say, you know, monogamy isn't quite working for me, but polyamory is definitely not something I want. I don't want to have multiple relationships.
Yeah, it's like too extreme for them.
Yeah, it's like too extreme.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, I guess I'm stuck being monogamous because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
You know?
I see now, yeah.
And so I think, like, being able to have these conversations is like a great thing. It's like you don't have to pick one or the other. It doesn't have to be black and white, right? Like, we can make our relationships whatever we want them to be. They don't have to fit into these boxes. But it all starts with, like, being able to talk to your partner about what it is that you really want, and exploring, like, oh, okay, so what would feel good to us? Maybe it is just having like one weekend where you go and you have sex with somebody and that's it, and you have your like little fling, and then you come back, you know, like once a year or whatever. Or maybe it is like, you know, when you meet somebody and, you know, you're just really attracted to them, maybe it's like, yeah, you're allowed to flirt with them. Yeah, maybe you're allowed to get their number and like text with them a little bit, but then that's it, you know? Because sometimes just being able to openly flirt with somebody is really all people want, you know? And it gives you that boost of like confidence, that boost of self-esteem, but you don't need to actually sleep with that person. And so, like, maybe it's just that. It's like, yeah, if you meet somebody and you want to flirt with them, you do that. You flirt your little butt off. You know, have fun, but then come home to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe it's just that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, like, each couple has to decide in the beginning what it is they want.
Yeah.
But then, at some point, one spouse may bring up, like, oh, I want to, like, explore a little bit more. Like, I want to do things a little bit differently than just monogamy. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it's learning about all the different variations, or, like, you know, monogamish, or, like, monogamy plus, whatever you want to call it. Like,
monogamy plus.
Yeah, like, all the little variations.
I like that. That sounds like, very, like, you know, it's like Disney plus. Monogamy plus.
Monogamy plus, plus a little extra.
Plus
you know,
a little extra.
It's a little, like, tweak a variation on it.
I like that. Monogamy plus.
Yeah, so then it's like learning about, like, oh, like, what else is out there? Like, you know, what have other people done in the past? Like, it's kind of like going through, like, the pros and cons of each of those ideas, and, like, weighing them. Like, what do you want? Like, what feels most comfortable to you? And kind of exploring that with your partner. Yeah.
And also knowing that, like, even if you have these conversations, they can always change, you know? You can be like, yeah, sure, maybe we have one rule, and then after we've tried it and experimented with it, maybe we're like, that rule doesn't really work. We're going to change it to something else, you know? It's like...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, there's so many options, and I think we all get so stuck on... There's only like one way to do it, black and white. And like there's not. We don't have to like pick a label.
I think it's just easier for a lot of people. You know, it's common, it's well known, it's like accepted. It's easier, right? Like, you don't have to like think of like, you kind of don't have to think about all the nuances and I don't know, like all the details. So I think that's why, like,
but also, like, a lot of people don't
some people may just choose that.
Well, but a lot of people aren't sharing this information with anybody outside of their relationship.
Yeah, so it's a lack of, like, awareness about it. About, like, these different, like, monogamy plus, like, relationships.
Mm-hmm. Well, but it's like, well, if you're not telling people outside of your relationship, then you don't really need to put a label on it. As long as, you know, you and your partner understand... you know, the rules and the boundaries, then
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be a label.
Yeah, I mean, or you can just pick and choose from like, different ideas from like different labeled relationship styles that work for you.
We're just gonna make the gray area, all of it. It's just called monogamy plus.
Yeah.
Are you monogamous? No, we're monogamous plus. What's the plus? Oh, plus a little extra.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like...
And you get to define whatever that plus is.
It really is customizing, like, what it is you want, yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's the key, though. That's what's so hard for, like, for a lot of people, like, it's been hard for me in my life, and I think it's hard for everybody, like, figuring out what is it that you truly want, and, like, that truly makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds easy on the surface, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's why I think, like, it just... having these conversations needs to be normalized. And because I think so many people would be so much happier if they talked about up front, like, maybe I don't want to be completely monogamous. Or even if you have been monogamous for so long and it just hasn't been working for you, to be able to have this conversation with your partner, but explain to them, like, why. Like, it like always comes back to communication. You just have to be able to be open and honest with your partner. Because you're right, sometimes you don't know up front that you want something other than monogamy. But then after being in a monogamous relationship for a while, you realize, crap, maybe this isn't quite working for me. Maybe I do want something a little different. I don't want to be polyamorous, but I also don't want to be monogamous. So then what else is there?
Yeah.
Monogamy plus.
Yeah, I think that's where experimenting and like trying new things, like venturing outside of like just the black and white. That's kind of where you like, you kind of dabble and figure out what it is you do like and what you do want.
Yeah, because relationships are not, one size fits all. One way works for everybody.
Yeah.
And so like, and we just shouldn't be so like hung up on like the labels. And you don't have to fit into one of the perfect boxes. Make your relationship however you want it.
Yeah.
But just know that there's so many other options out there.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't be like shame around wanting something other than monogamy. And a lot of times there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it just it hasn't been normalized. It's not well known, or I feel like a lot, like for me in particular and a lot of people in general, like may have there's religion that like teaches a lot of people things. And that's not, that wasn't my upbringing, but
Yeah.
even just like your immediate family, your immediate relationships, plus like what you see on TV.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah. It's like those kind of form like your social bounds and what your social norms.
Yeah.
And just never having seen anything outside of monogamy in your own personal family and friend experiences growing up or any of that on TV, like, yeah, it's just so outside the norm.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing this episode. Because there's so much more. You don't have to choose monogamy or polyamory. If neither one of those work for you, great. Figure out what does work for you and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it really does just come down to the individual, though. What it is.
Of course.
What is it that you want? Or like if you don't know what you want, you're like feeling that like that desire to, I don't know, just try something new even though you don't know what it is, or there's that pull for like something more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just experimenting and trying new things is the way to go.
Yeah. And being open and honest with your partner, if you have a partner.
Also learning, I think also just learning from other people's experiences too. Like labels are helpful for that. Like, people have tried before, they've labeled it being swingers, or they've labeled it, having an open marriage.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like think about those ideas and whether you like the idea of those or not. Maybe you don't. So you're like, I'm not going to try that.
Yeah.
Like, let's get that out of here.
Yeah.
But then you can like kind of narrow it down or like pick and choose and.
It's like Chipotle, They tell you all the different kinds of burrito bowls there are, but then you get to pick and choose, mix and match, and make your own.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it's customizing your relationship almost.
Yeah, it is.
Your relationship style.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's like take what you like from all the different styles, mash them together, and create your own. It's whatever works for you. And if there isn't a label for what you want, fine, make your own label.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah. But yeah, to me the key is just figuring out what it is you want.
Yeah.
Clearly, like, understanding and defining it, and then just clearly communicating it to other people. And then going from there.
Yep. Cool. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm fully lost in the gray area now.
Yeah, but like, do you get it why I was like, oh, I want to talk about like living in the gray area? Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Live life in the gray area.
I've got my own gray areas coming in though.
Oh my gosh. And on that note, as always, if you have enjoyed this episode or any episode, rate our podcast. Please, we would really appreciate it. 5-star rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But seriously.
I'd rather just have people rate what they think is fair.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, we hope you think it's 5 stars, and if you don't, let us know. Let us know why. Is there something we're missing? Something we haven't touched on? Something you want to hear more about? Like, let us know. Send us an email or shoot me a message on Instagram, or join our community, the Poly Plus and More community, and message me on there. Like, we love getting feedback. And it really does mean the world to us. Like, the other day, I had someone message me on Instagram, and she was like, wow, thank you for your episode about dating apps. And I was like, and she said it really helped her because she, her and her partner have been in an open relationship for like 7 years, but she's never tried the dating apps. And so, she found the episode about dating apps really helpful, and the fact that she messaged me about it just, it always makes me feel so good and makes us feel like good and motivated and like, yes, like people are listening to this and really like getting something out of it. And so, yeah, like we want to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point why we're doing this.
Exactly.
Share our experiences and our thoughts and beliefs on this lifestyle we've chosen. So
yeah,
I mean, hopefully it can help some people out or, spark new conversation.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, the whole point of us doing this is to, help other people. And so when you, other people, message us and tell us that what we're doing has helped you, it's just like this wonderful, great feedback cycle. So, yeah, like we would love to hear from you. But exactly, if you're like, no, I don't think this is 5 stars, then we want to hear from you too. Why?
Yeah.
What else would you like to hear? Yeah, let us know. Like, we would love the feedback.
What could we do better? Is something are we talking too much about one thing, or is there not enough conversation somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, any of that feedback's helpful.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is, either way, let us know your feedback. Good, bad, in between. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the gray.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the gray. Exactly. Okay, well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao.